The lust for revenge? Oh!
A fledgling hunter by the looks of it. What's someone so soft doing in the Caelid coast? Don't you know this is Bolgan country? Those red devils are really digging in. I've slain many on my hunt for Chernobog. Grand fellows and courageous to a fault. They're the ones who accompanied me this far, helped me pass through all their bloody checkpoints. Of course, once I had the chance to take leave of them, I did. One doesn't need a band of glory hunters following him on the most glorious hunt of his career. Ha! My hunts are the stuff of legend. Not even that fey armor-tear can boast to have tracked and slain more prey than I. And now I intend to claim Chernobog, the Bolgan champion, as my greatest trophy from the Caelid coast. The Tuatha and the Bolgan have kept this land in their greedy pockets for more than 10 years. They can have it for all I care. It's a stagnant pit of decay and despair. The oldest and mightiest of the living Bolgan, he led the armies of Gadflo to victory over the houses of Ancilla and Gassir. Chernobog may be ancient and marred by war, but don't let that fool you. He is as strong as ever. The scars don't give me away? Ha! You're probably the first person in recorded history not to recognize the mighty Alof the Hunter. Usually my reputation precedes me. As for why I am here in this muggy puddle of piss, I intend to conquer Chernobog, the mighty Bolgan, and win his eye as my trophy. But first he must be summoned, for he won't just face any foe, you know. Only those he deems worthy to smite with his blade. Ha! You're certainly welcome to try. But I'm afraid he'll be much too dead by the time I finish with him. Besides, you still have the offering to consider. Chernobog will only battle those who can prove their ferocity. It is his way of swatting away the flies who don't offer enough of a thrill for his fiery blood. If you can collect the eyes of 10 Bolgans, then you are clearly a warrior who deserves a reckoning. Set the eyes upon Chernobog's war lanterns and the beast will emerge. I've traveled the world and hunted all manner of beasts. I tracked them down, claimed their heads and hides as mine. Krang the Etin, I slew him, as I did the Fist of Corthis and the clan of Craddock elders in Gallifall. By offering the bloodthirsty beast the eyes of 10 Bolgan that you have slain. Once you place that bloody offering on the pedestal and light the war fires, the ugly brute will emerge. Goodbye. Are you hoping to summon the legendary Chernobog? If so, you'll need to wait your turn. Goodbye.
Like the gilded ghosts of youth, the curving plates of fey-like scrolls decorate the life's guard of this impostor. It says, "I am like you, Fey Spirit," and shimmers with a brilliant gleam. This cuirass of the Fey Hunter.
I think at first they were genuine friends. We were so young, with nothing in the world to really concern us. There was no place for malice or resentment. I don't care anymore, they're not worth my breath. I was in a place of promise. Lyria's magic shined throughout the halls. New and interesting people were everywhere. None as interesting as that divine spirit, but promising. I learned more there in 2 days than I did my entire life elsewhere. In fact, I owe my mentors a debt of gratitude. Were it not for them, I would never have found it.
Sorrow precedes you, mortal. It is almost enough to shift the great scale on its own. It has been centuries since my reverie was last disturbed. For what cause are you here? What could a mortal possibly want with me? Amalur and I have been apart for some time. I think it will be good when this business is over to resume our meditations together. I was another of the wretches that the Weeping King saved when he first walked into the Feylands. When he pulled the rot of winter from me, I learned how I too could do the same. So I learned the finer points of his magic, and followed him as the first delver. Though all of the house are the followers of the Weeping King, the delvers are his true disciples. They can delve into the sorrows of another, just as he did. It was formed as a way to keep the winter traditions of decay and rot while building a winter court. But in time, we lost true sight of what the essence of winter was. The sorrows are the inheritance of the House of Sorrows, so to speak. We have been working at delving for centuries, collecting and shaping this magic, but we had never thought that it could be exploited. Do the Tuatha revere nothing? They are Alarain's orders. In many ways, they are the stewards of the House of Sorrows, while delvers deal in the spiritual, tenders see to the corporeal. That moniker holds no meaning to a true Fae. What is age to the ageless, to the immortal? Bizarrain, I have been sealed in here for some time, mortal. But even I know this one. His is the hand that leads the House of Sorrows, no? I know something of the war this land cries of. I will serve. But before I go to his side, you must find Alarain. She and I are as one. Once, long ago, Alarain and I walked the midden as faithful devotees of the Weeping King. She a tender, and I a delver. We were the first of our kind. But when the Weeping King passed, there was nothing. The House of Sorrows that he had built no longer served death, but the winter court that it itself had created. So Alarain and I left. We came here. We devoted ourselves to the contemplation of death, as the Weeping King would have wanted. It means much to me that you wish to reunite us. We have been long in isolation, contemplating death. Perhaps too long. As you found me on one part of the scale, so will you find her on the other. Now I will leave my cell to wait for you both. Among our kind he was, and he remains singular. None could do now what he did, to naturally find the sorrows in others and delve into their being. And though he formed the House of Sorrows, though he saw the birth of the Court of Winter, he did not remain. By choice or fate, he went to Ashara, never to return. I think this war has exhausted all other Winter Fae who knew the Weeping King as he walked. But though Alarain and I remain, I can scarce recall him. She tends to the scale as I have for these many centuries. You must reset the scale in order to reach her chamber. Very well. If I am to be of use to you, then you must reach Alarain. She is tending to the great scale, as was I. Very well.
How curious. You are mortal, but your steps resound with a burden greater than any one mortal might ever hope to bear. More curious still is your presence here. The great scale is not idly moved, nor is my reverie broken without cause. What is your purpose? Of the Weeping King's disciples, we were the first. Standing on the edge of the midden, we bore witness to him, transforming our people into something more. We vowed to never let that memory fade. Though death did call, we remained in this world, so that the knowledge of the Weeping King persisted. Along with the Weeping King, it was Caelrod with whom I watched the rise of winter. We were fated to be the first tender and delver. I think too long have we been in these contemplations, isolated. When this affair is over, I think we will reunite in earnest. They are the heart of this collective. A delver can take the sorrows into their being like the Weeping King did. Becoming a delver means mastering his art. In the beginning, it venerated death, but in time the house was revered by Winter Fae for its sacrifice. The sorrows, they were meant to stand as a monument to the work of the house. And now they stand on being used as a tool for war. Despicable. Of that order I was the first. I had the strength to answer the Weeping King, and take the burden of other Fae, but I could not hear the sorrows within them. And so I was to honor the midden and tend its depths, so that nature would forever know that we have honored her call for decay. Caelrod and I have lived long in this world, it is true. But our choice was not driven by some manner of self-preservation. It was to learn. All Fae return their life energy to Ashara on death. But the nature of Winter Fae, their essence, lies in the decomposition and decay of all things. Caelrod and I have forsaken being reborn anew to embrace the rotting of the corporeal world among us. That is where nature truly lies. The first king of the House of Sorrows, and perhaps the greatest Winter Fae to walk these lands, he taught us to delve and to bear the burden of winter. But when the realms of winter were freed of this burden, the Weeping King left this world, never to return. It has been long since that transpired. So long, in fact, that I cannot even recall his face or his presence. But it was powerful. Being in his presence was to know the sorrow of our race. I have felt the shifting of the scale. I know that Caelrod has now ended his contemplations to serve the King of Sorrows. It is no small thing that he asks, for the knowledge that was given to us by the Weeping King was never to propagate nor to be exploited. But I know of the times that are upon us. Come, let us join with Caelrod. If Bizerain and you are to find the Sorrows, then it is more than my knowledge you will need. Where we must meet, come, and the eldest will be reunited before you. Goodbye. We must confer in Caelrod's presence. Come, mortal. Goodbye. You have come. I am gladdened that Caelrod and I are united once again. But if Bizerain truly seeks the Sorrows, then he will need more than the knowledge of the eldest. There is a key of sorts to the Sorrows. It lies in the hollow of Sincere, the hollow of the Weeping King. We must recover it. Yes, a mortal is not suited to this task, perhaps, but I do not believe we have time to find another to do this for us. We have not asked you to reunite us without cause. Our efforts must be divided. Bizerain must be instructed, and the key must be found. One of us will accompany you to Sincere, and the other will go to the house. We leave the choice to you, mortal. Caelrod and I have different skills, but both of us are capable of guiding you through Sincere. I do not deny there will be hardships we must combat, For that, I rely on my Fey blades, while Caelrod uses his magics. Which is of more use is up to you. Very well. I have not had cause to use my blades in some time. I will shadow step to Sincere, and await you to meet me there. Our work awaits, mortal. Let us make haste. Goodbye. Farewell.
Can you smell the Bolgan? I am fine with marching all over Cluricon. We had been cooped up in Melsenshire for years. Oh, Bolgan. Why did it have to be Bolgan? What are you doing here? Have you met the bard, Brune? He'll have you smiling, despite everything else that's going. You do not think Captain Gastier is related to the Royal Gastiers, do you? Would that not be a coincidence? Oh, damn humidity.
Hey, what are you doing out here? Caelid Coast isn't a good place for a stroll, not at all. Do I know you? You have that look. Familiar. I fought with Captain Gastier at Melsenshire. Maybe we spent a few skirmishes together. I can't remember everything that happened. Can you? We've been making good time through Cluricon. Melsenshire was the dam, and now the river is out of control. We'll be in Alabastra soon enough. It's the last bastion in Cluricon, where we expected the Tuatha to form a stiff resistance. That hasn't happened. The castles have been overrun, but that's about it. It's been pretty quiet, actually. I've spent most of my time keeping my sword sharp and hoping to spot the southern lights. That place is sharp stone, a wall. The only way we can get a force past the House of Pride and into Alabastra is to topple Ancilla. But not even the heir to that place can get inside. I heard rumors that an advanced team had been sent in to secure it. But rumors are rumors, right? If you are interested in sharing a bed with a Bolgan, you will want to take a stroll over to Gastier. The place is as red as they come, crammed with our big one-eyed friends. They are a magical phenomenon that occur only in the Caelid Coast. Some in the Scholia Arcana believe the lights were created by Lord Gastier's personal mage, Braxis. The story claims that after the fall of Gastier, Braxis enchanted the royal fortunes, hiding them in a spell that only the most persistent adventurer would uncover. If you believe in such rot. I cannot lie, though. The lights are gorgeous. You can see them after dark, if you stand over by the old Gastier shrine on the cliffs. See you. There are a lot of Bolgan about. I thought we'd taken care of most of them, but they just keep coming. See you.
What are you doing here?